Now to a Fox News alert for you. It's not a matter of if, but when we go to war. North Korea's brand new chilling warning as the U.S. Air Force makes a show of force over the Korean Peninsula. Kitty Logan is live for us in London with a look at your international headlines this morning. Good morning, Kitty.
Good morning. Well, yes, North Korea is raising its objections to those ongoing US and South Korean military exercises. The government in Pyongyang has upped its rhetoric, saying that war on the Korean Peninsula may be inevitable. Now, these comments come after a US supersonic bomber flew over South Korea yesterday in a show of force as part of that large week-long military exercise. More than 200 aircraft taking part, including American fighter jets. Now, South Korea's military says this is to demonstrate a capability to respond to any threat from the north.
From the sea and the sky, America's first responders, like the LA County Sheriff's Department, are on alert for improvised nuclear devices.
Copy that. We're just heading out the gate now.
In the port of Los Angeles.
So this is an extremely busy shipping lane. We're going to be doing radiation screening on the vessels.
The country now returning to a Cold War era footing. Millions of us wondering what would happen if the unthinkable did happen.
There is a lot of misconceptions about nuclear detonation, that California is going to fall into the ocean, that, there's no surviving it.
Brooke Buttermeyer and his team at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory modeled what a 10-kiloton nuclear detonation would look like, a bomb about the size that fell on Hiroshima. Using Los Angeles as an example, the immediate blast zone would be nearly flattened, an area about 10 blocks across. A moderate, then light damage zone would spread out for several miles. It would be deadly, but millions would survive the initial explosion, making radioactive fallout a major concern.
There's a lot of shelter opportunities in a city that our analysis shows can keep people safe.
A concrete structure is the best shelter. The middle floors of a building are safest. Fallout on the roof and the ground outside make the top and ground floors the least safe. If there's a basement, it's your best protection.
Even a wood frame home could offer enough protection from radiation sickness. Experts advise you get inside, as close as you can to the center of the home.
People practice what they're supposed to do during an earthquake. And I would like to see the same kind of thing, the same kind of attention paid to nuclear preparedness.
Which is why coastal Ventura County is considered the nation's public health leader in preparing for a nuclear emergency. The county created public service announcements and an 18-page guide for its residents with one idea: get inside, stay tuned. A message scientists believe could save countless lives in the face of a doomsday event.
It may be a grim sign of what's happening inside North Korea. A boat thought to be from the reclusive state washed up in Japan, carrying 8 skeletons. It's part of a recent spike in incidents involving boats suspected to come from the north drifting in and around Japanese waters. 28 cases were reported in November, 7 times more than the year before. Reuters' Linda Sieg explains what it all points to.
This probably reflects a worsening of the food situation in North Korea. The Workers' Party newspaper at the beginning of November had an editorial exhorting people to go out and catch lots of fish for the glory of the motherland and the party. This is not the first time, but it seems to be a bigger push and probably involving members of the military as well.
Last month, Japanese police found 8 North Korean men at a marina after their boat appeared to have run into trouble. The next day, a body and part of a vessel were discovered on Sado Island. And on Tuesday, Japanese police combed this uninhabited island after valuables from doorknobs to solar panels were stolen. It had been housing North Korean fishermen who took shelter from rough seas. They're now being questioned by police.
It will be interesting to see how Japan treats them. Does it just send them back to avoid any sort of diplomatic headache? Because if it were to arrest them and try to keep them here, it would actually be a potential problem for Japan.
The trend has forced the Coast Guard to beef up patrols and raised some concerns the boats may be carrying North Korean agents, though experts say that's unlikely.
CNN has learned tonight of a new American weapon which could counter Kim Jong-un's menacing and accelerating missile program. A U.S. Air Force official tells us it's called CHAMP, a high-powered microwave system that can be delivered on an air-launched cruise missile deployed from an American bomber. Experts say it can jam missiles before they launch or while they're in flight. And in the standoff with North Korea, it's a game changer.
It would be very useful in the Korean theater because it wouldn't require the presence of significant numbers of ground forces, it wouldn't require special operations forces, and it wouldn't require kinetic bombing attacks. So in essence, what can happen is an attack can occur and not a single person on the enemy's side would lose a life.
This declassified animation from the U.S. military shows how the CHAMP system would work. A bomber deploys a cruise missile. It would fly into enemy airspace at low altitude and send out strong pulses of electromagnetic energy. Officials say the enemy's electronic command and control systems would be jammed. Then, analysts say, the missile it's deployed on could be splashed down at sea. In one test of the CHAMP system, this was the result: a bank of computers being disabled simultaneously.
This is kind of like putting a piece of metal into either a microwave or some other high-frequency area where you're blasting it with a lot of radiation and you watch what happens to it. It's like, in essence, magnesium being set on fire.
Officials caution CHAMP is still in the research phase and not yet operational. While it could be effective in preempting North Korean missile launches, skeptics say it has potentially dangerous drawbacks.
The North Koreans would see many of these missiles flying in, they would try to shoot them down. They're not actually going to know that they're armed with high-powered microwaves instead of, say, conventional explosives or even nuclear weapons.
Another potential drawback, experts say, is that the North Koreans could possibly detect the launch of a CHAMP missile beforehand and could launch their own electronic countermeasures to jam that system. One expert points out the Iranians once crashed an American drone by spoofing the drone's GPS system. Wolf, that could happen with this weapon as well.
Interesting. Brian, how long before the system could be operational?
Well, the Air Force, Wolf, is not giving us that information, but one former Air Force intelligence officer who knows about this weapon says if there's a crisis, this system could be pushed into operation in a matter of days. A couple of other benefits, according to one intelligence officer we spoke with: these microwave weapons could be deployed in any kind of weather, and these pulses travel at the speed of light. The results would be instantaneous.